Let's discuss your phone now, specifically your WhatsApp. Do you use it every day? In that case, you may see it as an extension of your life. Your loved ones are on it, telling you about their day, sharing photographs, good morning messages perhaps. Your parents are on it, asking you about your well-being. Your office groups are buzzing most of the time. If you're doing so much on WhatsApp, in fact, chances are you're taking calls too. And you won't be alone in doing all of this. Most Indians use WhatsApp for pretty much everything. But is it safe? That question is back in the news, and the government of India is investigating. It is looking into how safe WhatsApp is. Now, what triggered this? A serious allegation. WhatsApp may be snooping on you, listening to your conversations. Says who? An engineer at Twitter. A few days back, he tweeted this photograph. It was from his phone. What does it show? A log of sorts. According to this user, WhatsApp repeatedly used his phone's microphone. And every time WhatsApp accessed the mic, the phone recorded it. Look at the timeline. There's an entry at 4:20 a.m., then 4:22 a.m., 4:37 a.m., 4:39 a.m. At 4:41, WhatsApp accessed the mic of this phone for 14 minutes. And then there are more entries. 5:59 a.m., WhatsApp accessed the mic for 2 minutes. Then at 6:25 a.m. for 26 minutes. What was WhatsApp trying to do here? Why was it accessing the mic so many times, and that too for several minutes on end? Was it trying to listen to the user? Could it be happening with you too? Most of us give microphone access to the app. Without this, you won't be able to make calls. But in this instance, the user was not making any calls. In fact, he was asleep. I have a quote. This is what he said. WhatsApp has been using the microphone in the background while I was asleep, and since I woke up at 6 a.m., and that's just a part of the timeline. What's going on? Indeed, what is going on? It's a legit question. Why does WhatsApp need to access the mic at night so frequently and for such long durations? Now, these questions are being asked by the government of India too. India's IT Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar has issued a statement. This is what he says. This is an unacceptable breach in violation of privacy. We will be examining this immediately and will act on any violation of privacy even as the new Digital Personal Data Protection Bill is being readied. And what is WhatsApp's response to all of this? Remember, the app is owned by Meta. That's also the parent company of Facebook. They've issued a public response to the user who first raised concerns, that Twitter engineer who shared his phone screenshot. And WhatsApp says, this happened because of a bug. Again, I have a quote. We've been in touch with the Twitter engineer who posted an issue with his Pixel phone and WhatsApp. We believe this is a bug on Android that misattributes information in their privacy dashboard and have asked Google to investigate and remediate. So they have shifted blame on Google. WhatsApp says Google needs to fix their operating system. It might be just that, a bug. But WhatsApp's troubles do not end there. The app is in hot water over another problem too, that is spam calls. In recent days, WhatsApp users, especially in India, have been inundated by spam calls. They've been getting a lot of these calls. Many users have posted screenshots online. In several instances, users get missed calls from international phone numbers. The callers had country codes of African and Southeast Asian nations. These are spam calls. WhatsApp wants users to block these numbers. Again, we have a statement from them. This is what they've said. Bad actors find different ways to scam users. International scam call is a new way that bad actors have recently adopted. We expect to be able to control the current incident effectively. We will continue to work relentlessly towards ensuring a safe experience for our users. We're working on it. That is the response from WhatsApp. For New Delhi, that's not good enough. Reports say the government of India is issuing a notice. This is a developing story. We'll keep track. Do you shop online? It's hard to find someone who doesn't. It's so comfortable to sit on your couch and order stuff, groceries, clothes, gadgets, name it, and you can order it. One company really revolutionized this process, and that's Amazon. They turned online shopping into a billion-dollar business. Today, you can find anything on their website, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just how ugly? Well, take a look. This is a product listed on Amazon's website. Lashkar-e-Toiba leather coasters. This is not a joke, it's a real listing. The coasters have the LET logo on them. If you scroll below, you can find more details. There are 6 pieces. They have a non-slip design. They're made of leather. And what's more, you can customize them. Pick any color of your choice. Honestly, I'm lost for words. Amazon is selling terror-themed coasters. The item is currently unavailable, but don't worry. Just ask Amazon and they'll inform you when it's back. How does something like this even happen? Oversight, ignorance, or lack of concern? Either way, it's time to educate Amazon. LET is a terror group based in Pakistan. Their sole objective, to hurt India. It was founded by Hafiz Saeed in the 1980s. The money and training came from Pakistan's deep state. The LET has masterminded multiple terror attacks on India, like the 2001 Parliament attack, the 26/11 Mumbai attack, the 2019 Pulwama attack. It's designated as a terror group across the world, in India, in the UK, in the US, in the European Union, and also at the United Nations Security Council. But on Amazon, it's a coaster brand. The company has a lot of questions to answer. How did a product like this get listed? Who listed it? And why wasn't it taken down? Because if this was a joke, it's a bad one. Lashkar-e-Toiba has killed dozens of innocent Indians. The name itself evokes trauma. So putting their logo on coasters is simply not funny. The other possibility is even more sinister. The possibility of this being a propaganda campaign. It's up to Amazon to find out. I'm sure sellers give some sort of identification when listing products. This one was listed on the 10th of May. 2 days later, it's still on the website. What does that say about Amazon's product checks? Inadequate at best, dangerous at worst. Here's what their website says about offensive products. Our policies prohibit the sale of products that promote, incite, or glorify hatred, violence, racial, sexual, or religious intolerance, or promote organizations with such views. Well, I'm not a sales expert, but I think a terrorist group ticks that box. In fact, every box. Amazon has robots scanning new products regularly. They look for problematic symbols or text. How did they miss the LET logo? The listing even mentions the full name, Lashkar-e-Toiba, so clearly Amazon needs to reevaluate its process. Maybe put more actual people on the job. Because this isn't an isolated case. Amazon has a history of selling problematic and dangerous stuff, like this. In 2009, a video game about rape was sold on the platform. It allowed players to sexually assault women, and Amazon put it up for sale. In 2010, they messed up again. This book was listed on Amazon's website, The Pedophile's Guide to Love and Pleasure. What's more, Amazon defended it. They said we can't ban books because the message is objectionable. First time someone called pedophilia objectionable, I think the right word is criminal. Until 2008, Amazon sold these I Love Hitler t-shirts. They were removed after the World Jewish Congress intervened. I can give you more examples. In 2018, Amazon was found selling a book written by Osama bin Laden. You think that's bad? They were also selling a bomb-making manual. How did all of this escape the filter process? Here in India, Amazon has had to remove multiple products, like leggings with Hindu gods on them, or these religious doormats. So the problem is multifaceted. There is a lack of cultural understanding and sensitivity. There is also a bigger lack of effort and common sense. Why else would you sell Hitler t-shirts and rape games? Amazon needs to find a solution to this problem. Listing and then removing cannot be the answer. The key to such problems is to prevent such listings in the first place. And I'm not saying it's easy. There are probably millions of sellers on the platform. Filtering each and every product will be hard. It will take time. But then again, you're worth $1.1 trillion. Surely you can invest in this. Now to the war in Ukraine. It turns out Russia may have a secret partner, South Africa. There's a storm brewing in Pretoria. The US envoy to South Africa made an explosive claim. He says South Africa is arming Russia. Listen to this.
The government of South Africa is in fact not aligned. Amongst the things that we noted were the docking of the Russian cargo ship Lady R in Simonstown between December 6th and December 8th. 22, which we are confident uploaded weapons, ammunition onto that vessel in Simonstown as it made its way back to Russia, which does not suggest to us the actions of a non-aligned country.
He says the US is confident that weapons and ammunition were uploaded on the Russian ship. Where did he say this happened? At Simonstown, near Cape Town, home to South Africa's largest naval base. Now, this is a very serious allegation. South Africa claims to be a neutral country in this war. It has refused to condemn Moscow's invasion. It says dialogue is the only way to resolve the conflict. Now, America says it is arming Russia. How do you think they responded? Not with a denial. President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the South African parliament yesterday. He said the matter was being looked into and that South Africa will be able to speak about it, quote unquote, in time. That doesn't sound good at all. It's a diplomatic nightmare for the allegedly neutral country. Meanwhile, the US has welcomed Ramaphosa's probe.
It certainly would be a welcome step, but again, the deeply concerning piece of this is the docking of a sanctioned Russian vessel at a South African naval port.
And while Russia's supposed covert ally is being grilled, Ukraine's allies are sending weapons non-stop. The UK will send the Storm Shadow missiles to Ukraine. What are these? Long-range missiles. This makes the UK the first country to send such weapons to Ukraine. British Defence Minister Ben Wallace spoke about it yesterday.
Today I can confirm that the UK is donating Storm Shadow missiles to Ukraine. Storm Shadow is a long-range, conventional-only precision strike capability. It complements the long-range systems already gifted, including HIMARS and Harpoon missiles, as well as Ukraine's own Neptune cruise missile and longer-range missions elsewhere gifted. The donation of these weapon systems gives Ukraine the best chance to defend themselves against Russia's continued brutality.
He was quick to add that the Storm Shadows complement other long-range systems. Now, it makes it seem like this is not an escalation, but like I said, the UK is the first country to give long-range missiles to Kiev. It's something Ukrainian President Zelensky has been asking for a while now. The Storm Shadow missiles can hit targets 250 kilometers away. That's almost double the range of the Harpoon missiles that Wallace compared them with. So it definitely marks a new stage in the war. There's been a lot of talk about a spring counteroffensive. Zelensky is likely hoping to stock up weapons before that. Both nations, Russia and Ukraine, were waiting for winter to end before the next phase of intense fighting. Zelensky has not given the go-ahead yet, but in a recent interview, he portrayed confidence. Let me quote from what he said. With what we have, we can go forward and be successful. But we'd lose a lot of people. I think that's unacceptable. So we need to wait. We still need a bit more time. Is that false bravado or an accurate assessment? We'll see in the coming months. But there are indications that Russia may be faltering. The biggest battleground is still Bakhmut, a city in eastern Ukraine. Russians have been claiming success for the last few weeks. The battle is being led by Yevgeny Prigozhin. He is the leader of Russia's Wagner mercenary group. Last month, he said he had captured the city of Bakhmut. Now it turns out that Bakhmut is still not in Russia's control. Ukraine says Russian troops are pulling back, and the Wagner chief did threaten to pull back a few days ago. He said Russia was not giving him enough weapons to fight, and he will ask his men to withdraw. He even released a video purportedly showing his dead fighters. Later, he said the army was sending supplies, but only a tenth of what had been promised. Yesterday, he said Ukraine was winning the Battle of Bakhmut. Well, that's also what Ukraine is saying. The Wagner chief is blaming the Russian military for all of this. He says that a Russian army unit fled the front lines, that they were given quote-unquote criminal orders from the military top brass. Honestly, it's hard to ascertain the truth, but this infighting has been going on for a while. It's the Wagner group versus the Russian military. They were supposed to be fighting as one team. Now they're fighting each other, and it doesn't bode well for Russia. Our next story is about de-dollarization, about ditching the US dollar. We keep hearing about the plans, but how practical are they? Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov recently highlighted a problem. Listen to this.
We accumulated billions of rupees on the accounts in the Indian banks, and we need to use this money, but for this, these rupees must be transferred in another currency, and this is being discussed now.
Russia says it has billions of rupees in Indian banks. The problem is they can't use them. This claim raises two very important questions. One, how has Russia accumulated so much Indian currency? And two, why can't Moscow use it? Let's deal with the first question first. India has been buying a lot more Russian oil since 2022. Imports from Russia are up fivefold. The total value is $41 billion. Normally, this trade would be settled in dollars, but not anymore. Russia has been cut off from the global payment system called SWIFT. The result is this: India uses rupees to buy Russian oil. That answers the first question, how Russia got so much Indian currency. Now to the second question, why isn't Russia being able to use this money, these rupees? Because Russia doesn't buy very much from India. Total exports are just around $2.8 billion. They're down 11% compared to 2021. So do you see the problem here? Russia has a lot of rupees, but they don't have anything to buy with that money. It's like a frozen fund. What's worse, this unused pile could grow. Experts say it could reach tens of billions of rupees. So what options does Russia have? Can they convert these rupees into another currency? Well, not quite. You see, the Indian rupee is not fully convertible. It's partially convertible, meaning you can exchange it for restricted purposes only. There's a growing demand to remove those restrictions, to fully internationalize the rupee. What would that mean? You can convert any amount of rupee into foreign currency, say the dollar or the euro or the yen. The downside is this: the RBI would lose control of the currency. Right now, the RBI intervenes when the rupee is in free fall. That's the Central Bank of India. They sell or buy forex to regulate the rupee. But once it is internationalized, that's not an option. The rupee's value would then be fixed by the market, the international market. Is India ready for that? The experts are divided. But the RBI says it is inevitable. It'll happen at some point. The Russian experience also shows that countries will be willing to hold your currency for only two reasons. A, if they can buy things from you, or B, if the currency is fully convertible. So that's the job for India, to boost manufacturing and export, to make it useful to hold the Indian rupee. Now, this is a plan that should not be rushed. Once the rupee is internationalized, India will be linked closely to the global economy, which also means more volatility. So preparation and planning will be key. Having said that, the end goal is positive. India could end up saving a lot of foreign exchange, not to mention the prestige of being a reserve currency. India isn't the only one trying to do that. China has similar ambitions. They've tried to internationalize the yuan since 2010. It's been a mixed bag, though. China exports a lot, so the demand for the yuan is high. But trust is an issue. People are not confident about China's financial market. Plus, there is a political angle to the yuan. Beijing's plan is to not just to internationalize their currency, but to replace the US dollar. So naturally, there will be a pushback. But India's plans are different. It's about self-interest, not about harming the US dollar. So perhaps a good start is the neighborhood. India and Bangladesh have already agreed to trade in local currencies. Countries like Sri Lanka and Mauritius have also opened accounts in India. It's a good start to build trust in the Indian rupee. And now it's time for Vantage Shots, images that tell the story. We start on an inspiring note. Cambodian runner Bu Sam Nang lost a race, but won the hearts of many. She was finishing last in the women's 5,000-meter final at Southeast Asian Games, but determined, she finished the race despite torrential rain. Meanwhile, Swedish climate activists threw red paint on the finance ministry building. They want the government to stop funding fossil fuels. And for Mexican migrants waiting for asylum in the US, it's a case of border divides, but pizza unites. Migrants waiting on the US side of the border order food from restaurants on the Mexican side. And finally, what happened in history today on the 12th of May? The year was 1943. During World War II, a German commander in North Africa surrendered after the famous Battle of El Alamein. The North Africans surprised the German forces with their brute resolve. and push them out. We're leaving you with these images. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Monday.
This is the film record of the closing stages of the last battle in Africa, where they surrendered in droves. This is nearing the climax of the greatest German setback since Stalingrad. This time the newsreel camera goes over with a number of flying fortresses. This is a very small incident in the non-stop blitzing of Italian targets from North Africa.
Email exchanges from inside the BBC, they talk about the risk of violating Indian laws. It's easier to rake up the freedom of speech debate, but does it give anyone a free pass to knowingly violate the law? America supports India because it needs India's support in return. And India is working with the US because it suits India's interests. This is how geopolitics works. Last night, he diffused a crisis with his defense minister. But today, Netanyahu was confronted with a new problem. His cabinet seems to have rebelled against him. The UK is looking at the Indian subcontinent to fill its coffers. That India seems to be negotiating from a position of power, like a partner and not a former colony.